Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. We have a lavender cream matcha from Starbucks. And today's video is going to be my April TBR. As you know from my announcement, I'm going to be spending most of April in Germany, so it's going to look a little bit different. I'm not sure actually how much reading I will be able to get done or what I will have access to necessarily, but this is what I'm projecting I'll have access to and also have time to read. So it's going to be a little bit shorter than other months just because I don't really know what it's going to be like, right? But the first one that I would love to read is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the next Hunger Games book, so you know all of us are freaking out that love the Hunger Games. This is following Haymitch, which is going to be really interesting, and it's also the first quarter quell. So it's double the amount of candidates. And I'm not sure exactly the rest of the kind of premise, so let me look at that. Yeah, I mean, it's just a normal Hunger Games setup, but it said he's torn from his family and his love, shuttled to the capital with the 3 other District 12 tributes, a young friend who's nearly a sister to him, a compulsive odds maker, and the most stuck-up girl in town. As the games begin, Haymitch understands he's been set up to fail, but there's something in him that wants to fight and have that fight reverberate far beyond the deadly arena. This is going to be like an absolutely heartbreaking story, I just know it, but I'm very excited to continue in this series because the Hunger Games is just a really interesting and hard-hitting series. I'm curious to see Haymitch's story written for everyone to see. Another book that I would like to read that I started last year, it was on a challenge for last year it was the only book that I didn't finish on that challenge, and I've just been meaning to get to it. I was able to get it on audiobook, and so hopefully I can kind of pluck away at it as I'm gone, but Every Dark Shadow by Sarah Zim. This has been a good book so far, and I'm interested in finishing it. Not even 100 pages in it yet, but I'm very excited to finish it. It's book 1 of the Whispers of Dust and Darkness series, and essentially, you're following a girl who's being protected. Her memories are wiped, and she lives with 3 different men in different, she goes through portals to go into different worlds, and is being, taken care of by these 3 different men. So she has a life with each of them. They're not, together necessarily, but she has a life with each of them, and they're kind of like her protector, her mentor, her friend. Not mentor, that's kind of weird. They're the same age. But friend, they're kind of helping her adapt to the world that she happens to be in. But when she is in danger or they think she's going to be found, she's portaled to another world and her memory is wiped. So it's kind of scary, but really interesting. So orphan turned fugitive Ophelia Dannon has been safely hidden in the mortal world for 4 years, her memories and magic locked away from herself and the siphoning Grey King of Magus, a king whose armies hunt relentlessly for one source of pure magic that vanished with Ophelia. A scholar, a smuggler, and a soldier have sworn their lives to hide and guard her until the time is right to awaken her magic. But across worlds where the Grey King enslaves the magic-born, rebellion is stirring and a dark force is rising to stake its own claim on the throne. When shadows reach tendrils across the mortal world for Ophelia, she's pushed into a perilous quest to search for truth, her magic, and a way to break the monarchy before it breaks them all. I've liked this so far, and it's been really interesting. I like the way the characters are written, and anxious to continue. The next book I would love to read is one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and that is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is book 2 in the Blood of the Leviathan series, and it's kind of a Sherlock Holmes-esque story. But fantasy. It's been really interesting. But I think even though it's a series, they kind of I think they're intertwined to some degree, but I think they all kind of have their own different flavor because one is I'm solving this mystery, and now I'm solving this mystery, much like Sherlock Holmes books. So for A Drop of Corruption, it says, the brilliant detective Anna may have finally met her match in this gripping sequel to The Tainted Cup. In the canton of Eurodale, at the very edge of the Empire's reach, an impossible crime has occurred. A treasury officer has disappeared into thin air, abducted from his quarters while the door and windows remain locked from the inside. In a building whose entrances and exits are all under constant guard, to solve the case, the Empire calls on its most brilliant and mercurial investigator, the great Anna. At her side, as always, is her bemused assistant, Cole. Before long, Anna's discovered that they're not investigating a disappearance, but a murder, and that the killing was just the first chess move by an adversary who seems to be able to pass through warded doors like a ghost, and who can predict every one of Anna's moves as though they can see the future. Worse still, the killer seems to be targeting the high-security compound known as the Shroud. Here, the Empire's greatest minds dissect fallen titans to harness the volatile magic found in their blood. Should it fall, the destruction would be terrible indeed, and the Empire itself would grind to a halt, robbed of the magic that allows its wheels of power to turn. Den Cole has seen Anna solve impossible cases before, but this time with the stakes higher than ever and Anna seemingly a step behind their adversary at every turn, he fears that his superior may have finally met an enemy she can't defeat. Stakes are high! No, I'm very excited to continue that series. The next book that I would like to read, because I do have it actually on my phone as a NetGalley e-arc, which I'm trying to read an e-arc. But I think it'll be okay because I'll be in Germany, so it's like the only book I could take with me, right? And it's Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark. This was actually the Fairy Loot book for January, and I'm really intrigued by it, but I think it doesn't come out in the US until May, which is cool for me that I can read it. But it's an epic new fantasy about a demon hunter and a foot soldier thrown together in a centuries-old war, and the forbidden love that could change the course of history. A bloody war between demons and the Vatican was waged for more than a century, with 2 elite soldiers now at its center. Celine, a high-ranking exorcist running from a dark family legacy, and orphan Jules, recruited by the Vatican and unrivaled on the battlefield. When their paths cross over a series of unprecedented demon attacks, the distrust and unwelcome attraction they have for each other is immediate. But to get to the bottom of the breaches, they strike an uneasy alliance to avoid suspicion. With Jules posing as Celine's estranged fiancé, they head to the Vatican in search of answers. But as Celine questions who her most dangerous enemy is, Jules has begun to suspect that it's him. Now Jules' very existence challenges every truth Celine had thought she knew and suggests a terrible conspiracy at the heart of the Vatican. Unable to ignore her growing feelings, the two must take an impossible choice between love and duty. They say love conquers all, but can it win in a war between demons and exorcists, or will it tear them apart? Sounds interesting. I'm very curious. I like the demon hunter Vatican setting. I think that's really cool. And the last book that I hope to read in April, that is also one I've been meaning to read so many times, and I've put it on so many TBRs and never started it, so let's hope that this is the difference and I actually read it this time, is The Serpent of Wings and Night by Carissa Broadbent. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I really want to read this. I've heard it's really good, and I want to read it. I just haven't. So, this is on the docket as well. On the back it says, human or vampire, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always, always guard your heart. There's an adopted human daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King, and she's kind of had to claw her way through things to survive and to make it. Essentially, she's just prey, so her only way to separate herself from that is to enter the Kajari, which is a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. But in order to win, she has to face the most fearsome warriors of all 3 houses, vampire houses, and she knows she probably can't do that, so in order to survive, she makes a pact with a mysterious rival. And the mysterious rival is Rain, a ruthless vampire and an efficient killer. He's also the enemy of her father's crown, and also her main competition. But she finds herself oddly drawn to him, and that terrifies her more. But there's no room for compassion in the Kajari. War for the throne of House of Night brews, shattering everything that Araya thought she knew about her home. And Rain may understand her more than anyone, but their blossoming attraction could be her downfall in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. So, like I said, this has been on my TBR so many times, and I haven't finished it, haven't been able to get to it. So I want to get to it in April if I can, but we'll see. Those are all of the books that I hope to read in April while I'm abroad. We'll see how it goes, but I look forward to sharing the adventures with you guys as I am overseas. Thank you so much for watching, but that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.